What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Blank Frank back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about neighbor almost runs over a kid. Alright, so his neighbor was the type of neighbor of to warn you of danger and stuff like that, but in the neighborhood that the kid lived in, probably, I think I just skipped something, but still. He was basically like the type of person to think that there were gunshots being fired on 4th of July, but even though that's the day that you pop fireworks. That's the type of person he was. So, they had this kid who lived in this neighborhood, and the neighborhood was completely safe, by the way. And the neighbor would literally annoy everyone in the neighborhood and warn them about leaving stuff outside, or just basically warned them for danger and stuff like that, like they're gonna get robbed or something. Even though that neighborhood that those people lived in was completely safe and they never had any type of crimes going on or anything like that. So it was just dumb. So yeah, that's the type of neighbor he was. So now moving on to the kid. To the kid, one day he had a skate box. Now a skate box is kind of like a object where you can grind your skateboard on and stuff like that, and do tricks and stuff like that with. And he and his friends ended up, skating on the skate box, and they also had other skating objects that they can skate on and grind on. And they used and those items and objects were made out of some other stuff they had. So they also used that. Now, they weren't disturbing anyone or nothing like that. They were just in the kid's driveway. They were in the kid's driveway, just skating on the skate box and other stuff like that. Now, for some reason, the neighbor's not even like a next door neighbor, two next door's neighbor, next door neighbor on the left side, right side, front side, nothing like that, behind you, nothing like that. He is like a couple houses down. So I don't know why he had a problem with them skating on a skate box and other objects in their own driveway. That made no sense. But for some reason he went over there almost every day complaining about how it's wrong, and how they shouldn't be skating in the driveway, in their driveway, in the street, even though the street is for everyone. The street is literally for everyone to do anything on there. So yeah, he was basically just criticizing them and complaining on how they shouldn't be skating on in the public street and stuff like that. And the kids, they didn't had enough of him already, since he would just go around annoying people. So they just basically ignored him. All right. So it got to the point where this neighbor would he would basically annoy them even more, because now, since he didn't like the kid not driving, but skating around in the public street, he ended up bringing his car. Yeah, the neighbor has a car. He's like a grown man, and the kids are like teenagers, bro. So one day he ends up parking his car in the kid's driveway. One day he ended up doing that. And on that day, the kid's mom had to go somewhere, so she ends up going outside, getting in the car. But then going to get inside of her car to go somewhere, but she ends up realizing that there was another car there, and she realized that's not her husband's car, because her husband was at work, or was coming home from work. So then she ended up asking the kid, "Do you know who that car is for?" And then so the kid realizes that it's the annoying neighbor's car. So he ends up going to the neighbor's house, knocking on the door, asking him, "Why did you move your car there?" and stuff like that. And he starts asking him, "Can you move it?" And then so the neighbor, knowing neighbor, is like, "No, not gonna move it," and stuff like that. And he starts like saying how he basically just starts calling him names and starts calling him idiots and using slurs and stuff like that, saying how he won't move it and stuff like that. So the kid ends up going back, telling his mom what's happening, and then she knows what's happening. So after now she's knows that what's happening. She ends up calling the kid's dad to see how long he's going to get there, so he can try to confront the man about this issue and stuff like that. So now 5 minutes pass. Finally, the dad gets home, and now they tell him about the situation. Wait, no. Hold up. No, now the dad comes back, and now he can't get into the driveway because obviously the man's car is there. So he ends up asking what's going on, who's this car for, and they end up telling him what's going on. So then the kid's dad ends up telling the kid to go back to the man's house and tell him to move the car so he can park his car there. And so his wife can leave. So he ends up going back and he ends up telling him the same thing again. And the neighbor keeps saying, "No, I'm not gonna move the car," and keeps insulting him and stuff like that. So now, so now that was the second time. Goes back, tells his parents what he said again, and this time the dad ends up, you know, coming up with a plan to get the man's car away. So plan is for the kid to go back over there, ask the man to move his car. And if he says no, tell him if he says no, they'll end up towing the car. And end up calling a tow truck to come tow his car to move his car away from there. So the kid was like, "Okay, let's try it." So he ended up going over there, asking him, saying the same stuff again. Man keeps he kept on insulting him. My bad, I can't speak right now, but it's late. Yeah, but keeps insulting him, keeps saying, "No, I'm not gonna move it." Then the kid was like, "All right, well, if you don't move, my dad's just gonna end up having your car towed." And he was like, "Nah, you're just joking. You're just joking. It's not gonna happen." And the kid was like, "All right." He ended up going back, telling his parents. The man said no, and so the kid's dad ended up calling the tow truck company to bring a tow truck over here to tow the car. And then so I think it was like a couple hours later, something like that. Eventually, the neighbor ends up coming back to the kid's driveway to come get his car, and he realizes that his car is gone. So obviously, they ended up towing his car. So he ends up confronting them about it, and asking, where's my car?" and stuff like that. So the dad ended up telling him, "I mean, I didn't know what else to do because you told my son no, that you weren't gonna move it, and we even warned you that we was gonna move it. We was gonna call a tow truck company to bring a tow truck here to tow it." And he was like, he kept getting mad and start stomping his feet and having a temper tantrum at the kid's front door. He ended up start stomping his feet on the ground, start having a whole temper tantrum. Notice this: the man's grown, bro. Man's like grown, bro. So after that, he ends up saying how he's got something in for them. He gonna get some revenge on them. So and it was like, all right. So the next day, the kids get home from school, and they're back at it again on the skate box, skating on the skate box and stuff like that. The man comes back, and as they're on the doing skating tricks and stuff like that, skating, one of the kids realizes that a car is coming towards their friend, basically the kid who owns the driveway, and he's coming towards him, driving fast, and it was like, "Yo, look out!" He said, "Jump" and stuff like that. So he ends up jumping. He ends up jumping out of the way, and 2 seconds later, he realizes that the man who tried to run him over is his neighbor, his annoying neighbor, and he also heard a crack noise. Notice how I said they were skating. He literally had to jump off his skateboard in order to survive that. And so the man ended up crashing and not crashing, but he ended up running over his skateboard, and his skateboard ended up cracking in half. So, and the man just had said, "Oh, I didn't see you there," which we already knew he did see him there, bro. Like, so yeah, that's basically the end of this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I know y'all don't see that I don't got that much energy, bro. It's like it's 11:33 right now, man. 11:33. But I'm gonna see y'all guys later. Peace.